G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I'm David. Today I'm going to attempt restyling this juniper prostrata. Now it's pretty much the only one in my collection for good reason. It was the first tree I ever styled back when I first started like 25 plus years ago. So it's had a number of different variations of what it looks like. I ended up going for a slanting recent, maybe 5 years ago. As the typical juniper prostrata procumbens do, they have died back for no reason. Could be fungus, could be not enough water, could be not enough fertilizer, could be a number of things, but there's dieback always happening. You can see here there's a branch that's died off. I've lost a few other branches along the way over the years, but it's reasonable, but it's nothing special. But let's try and make it something a bit more exciting and interesting. My plan is to straighten it back up. And pretty much make a really cool, hopefully, literati style out of it. It's got a nice trunk. It's got a bit of movement in the trunk. It's not a huge movement, etc. But it's got enough to do something. It's got a nice little branch, which I hope I can still use. But it's got a lot of this upper foliage, which is normal for these juniper procumbens, prostrata, because of the way they grow. So I'm going to try and work with what I've got. Probably have quite a bit of gin on there, a little bit of nice greenery, but nothing too, not too much foliage, not huge pads of foliage, more thinner maybe. That's the plan. But definitely want to get it up more, and I'll deal with this stupid wind in Melbourne that's been wreaking havoc around the place. It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. Otherwise, I won't be able to video anything if I don't come out. So you just have to deal with it. Luckily, you're not hearing it. So I'm just going to try and attempt to restyle this tree. One of the tricks I've got is when I'm going to try and straighten this up is use other plastic pots of some sort to put the tree into the position I want. It's interesting. I like doing this because it's firmer, it stays stronger. If you put wedges and stuff like that, they would tend to move. So if it was a small movement, I would put wedges, but this is quite a big change. So using this, I pretty much grab the tree and then try and find the angle I want. And then you can kind of place it in here at the angle you kind of want or so. And then you can start to wire it in that position. So I'm not 100% sure of the angle just yet. Might be something like that. You probably can't see it now. It's too tall to fit in the camera. I'll just double check the camera now before I do any more. All right, so there you go. So something like that in an angle change. So you can see how nice and firmly it stays in its place, which is really what I want. So you can really lock it in place. It's nice and locked in, and then I can start working on the tree. Slowly but surely I'll get through it all. What I'm planning to do is clean up a lot of the deadwood's really browned off. Anything that's been brown, I'm going to gin off and clean up first. So that branch, for example. And then I'll start from my way down, trying to position branches where I think they need to go. This is too far down now, so I've got to bring it back up. So things like that. I'm going to work on trying to position this tree how I like it. Maybe I won't keep this, maybe I will. But let's go through the design process. But as I said, first thing first is I'll clean up all the dead wood and start to make new gins with all the dead branches. All right, so done a bit of cleanup, just some cleanup work, getting all the dead bits out. Looks all greenish now. There's a few little areas that are a little bit weak, and we'll see if they play into my design at all. Now the other thing is, if I'd had a quick look around, I actually found another nice front all the way over this side. So it's got some really nice movement. It's got this branch on that side. It's got some branching. All the good branching though is on the back. So maybe we should be able to move it around if this works. So this is another option. So it's not a bad front as well. So that was a previous back. So it actually looks all right from this end too. So I've got two fronts to work with. I'm going to, obviously everything comes together once I look at where the branches are going to place and so on. But this is nice, actually. It's quite nice. But we'll see how it goes because it kind of comes back this way, which I didn't really want it to do that. But again, This side is nice too, but I think the other side has better movement in the trunk. This has better branching. But as I said, I think we can bring some of these right around anyway. So I'm tempted to go to turn the tree this side, much more interesting curves, and work with trying to get some branching around into here maybe, bring some of these around here, and just bring some branches around. The first thing is I'm going to see if I can position this branch in its place. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but the trunk's a bit cleaner. All I did was use a Y brush and brush all the old bark off. It flakes off, that's just fine, and you get the nice kind of cleaner look. It was a bit dirty, obviously, with dirt and grime building up, so this actually works really well. Just brushing off the old bark. So that's what I use to make the trunk and look a bit better with a cleaner branches. I mean, bark and so on, rather than the blackness of the dirt and so on. So I'm going to try and work with that as the front, and I'm going to start working on this branch and see if it fits in the design, and then work on the rest of the tree. And if I don't ever like this, I can cut it off. But I'm pretty sure I need something in here. And I need a few branches coming around, and the apex will pretty much sort itself out. But yeah, just thinking this might be nicer. All right, so I've done some work on this tree, but I've been fighting the hideous winds here in Melbourne, and hard to get out and do a bit more work. So I've just slowly started to place branches in where I think they should be. So it's a very literati kind of look. You can start to see the work happening. Now I'm going to do some back branching. It's got to come in now toward the top, and that top's got to be thinned out quite extremely. So I don't know. I'm just trying to see how it can get it to look pretty good, but it's already an improvement. It looks way better in real life than on the camera in two-dimensional view. But yeah, I just wanted to show you quickly how I'm working away at this tree. There's not much to show you apart from wiring and dropping branches. So you can see how deep, steady, I mean, really down they've been pulled. That one's come from the back and really pulled right down into this area. This one's pulled right down into this spot here. You know, just got to adjust it a little bit, but you get my idea. It's really being adjusted heavily down. Everything's being brought right down to really create that like really harsh environment. All the branches have been weighed down with snow, that kind of look with minimal foliage. So as I work my way up the tree, I've got a lot to do up here. Try to thin this out, pick the branches that I need. Maybe there's some jins going to happen, I'm not sure, but we'll see how we go about doing this top of the tree while I fight the wind. All right, quick update. Just want to show you how it's coming along. Got nice padding happening. Well, a lot of pads have been developed and wired out until this, so we haven't done anything in here yet. But it's actually coming along really well. It's nice dimensional. We could use another bit more depth in here, but I don't have any branches. I have to grow them out. So it's actually coming along really well. I'm pretty happy with it. Just shows you what you can do with some wire and a bit of time. So just showing you some of the pads work as we go up the tree. Got a bit of work in there, but now just the apex to get that in place and getting it looking good. All right, so here's a view of all the styling completed. Much more improved tree now. Looks really nice and light and airy and quite artistic. You know, there is you can talk about like, does that need this branch? I think for now, yes, we'll leave it there. But at least it's there now. If I want to take it off in the future, I'll consider that. So it's looking really good. It was just wiring work and placing branches as I made my way up the tree. Now I am going to repot this tree. I'm going to have a couple of pot options. I could go back in that same pot, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll see what I can come up with. It is a good pot, but I might look for a round pot as well, a drum pot. So we'll see what I can come up with, but let's give it a go. All right, everyone, so I ended up choosing this handmade Australian pot. I think it's a Jeff Vanna pot from many years ago. I think it's going to look nice with that pot. This one, the original pot, it's probably a little bit too deep and heavy for it. I think I like this change in pot. The good thing is with this repot, I was able to climb out a lot of the roots, and a lot of the weeds have intertwined into the root ball, so it's really good to get rid of that. But now I'm gonna just get this into the pot. And the hardest thing is trying to get it at the right angle, the exact angle you want. I've got lots of Thai tie wise, so it's going to be good to really hold it in position, and tucking soil in underneath to get that raised platform without jeopardizing the roots too much. So I'm going to get cracking because it's another crazy windy day in Melbourne. It's just ridiculous this spring, out of control, this wind. So I'm just going to repot this and get it in the perfect position. I'm going to just try and get this exactly where I want it to be and the right angles and so on. So I've already put some soil in the pot. Now it's a matter of trying to get it nice and compact and tight. So get the height right. So it's a matter of getting it also coming forward slightly. So there's a lot of little tweaks I have to do to the root ball to get it looking just in the right position. Now the good news is I've got lots of tie wires. There's lots of holes in this pot to be able to put good tie wires into the tree. So it should help a lot in terms of getting this exactly where I want it to be positioned. So probably I've just put one tie wire in just to get it the right. I think it's nicely going that direction. I think it's just subtle enough to give you the movement. Looks perfect. I think it's pretty much exactly where I want it. I've used the foot here as the front, which is how they do it in Japan. So I think that's it. I think that I'm happy with that. So I'm going to tie all the other wires now into it to really hold it in place. All right, everyone. So there's the final result of this little literati restyle of this juniper. It's come up really well. I'm pretty happy with it from what it was. Much more interesting tree now. Much more cooler. Much more refined. Looks like an old tree as well. Really quite nice. Pot does match it well, but I love the movement now of this foliage. I do enjoy that. It doesn't have to be there, but I think it's nice to have that there. And this nice tree over here. I think it's come up really good. I like the slight slant on it. Looks pretty good. The front is just about there. And I think the tree's come up well. What do you guys reckon? I think it's come up beautiful. So happy to listen to all your comments. I always enjoy reading them. So if you want to comment on the tree, go for it. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you back for more.